Hiya, I'm Aya, and we're gonna do retro view of Land Before Time, Return to the Great Valley. This is a PlayStation 1 game that came out in 2000. 24 years, actually, because today we're going to review an old classic movies game adaptation. Now, normally when people make games out of movies, most of the time they're not that great, right? So let's review Land Before Time. We're gonna do our typical things. We're gonna talk about sound and graphics and gameplay and controls, story, replayability, my opinion of the game, and how our journey went, followed by, is it worth playing now, 24 years later? So let's start with graphics, shall we? This is a typical 2000s 3D rendered game with low poly characters, and the textures are kind of slapped on over it. Though I have to say, other than the grass texture being absolutely bare by literally green screen, basically, most of the textures weren't bad for a kid's game this time era. The characters looked like the characters they were supposed to be, and the world kind of felt like a tropical dinosaur-y world. So I will say, graphically for the 2000s, it's not bad, but for nowadays, it's a little rough. But at least you can tell who it is and what you're doing, right? So when it comes to sounds, I will say music was good. There was always music in the game, which I very much appreciate because quiet is not good for me. The voice acting, however, could have used a lot more work. It felt very choppy and awkward at times. Unfortunately, they were not able to use the original voice actors from the movies, which is understandable since the movies came out in the 80s. Well, the first movie came out in the 80s. So overall sound, I'd have to say it's not bad, but it's not great. I'd say it's probably a good 2 out of 5 for the sound, at least. And graphically, I'd say 3 out of 5. But let's talk about the story, shall we? Now, what kind of story did we have here, chat? Let's see. Egg Napper steals Sharptooth egg. Friends and co find egg. They return egg. Sharptooth chases them. They get split up, and they have to return to the Great Valley, where they belong. I don't know why they were outside the Great Valley in the first place, but they were. So you play as each individual character, and you do, I believe, 4 levels to get them home. You get to play as the iconic Littlefoot, the long neck, Sarah, the Triceratops, Ducky, the I don't even know what dinosaur that is, and Spike, our favorite mute glutton. He's my favorite, probably. So as each character, you get to go around and you do basically a 3D platforming game. You have to solve some puzzles. I don't know if I want to call them puzzles, but I guess puzzles is the right word. They're not difficult, and our little flying buddy Petrie comes around and tells you basically what to do at all times. It says, hey, knock over this tree, or push this rock, or jump on these leaves. So really, there's a lot of direction for the game, so it's really hard to pick it up. Story-wise, I would say, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's very simple, and for little kids, I think that's probably as much story as they need. There are some cutscenes, which I think is nice, and I'd say story is probably like 3.5 out of 5, because there isn't a lot of story, to be honest, and I don't think that there needs to be a lot of story, to be honest. I think it's fine the way it is. Controls, I have to say I did not hate the controls in this game, and that is saying a lot, because X was jump, circle was spinny, and triangle was headbutt, and then square was pick up stuff. So honestly, the controls were fine. I really appreciated the simple controls that we use in most games even nowadays, right? So that was great. I would have to say controls for a 2000s game weren't bad. The camera, you didn't control, like, that's pretty normal back then, but it did, if you faced your character in whatever direction, it did move it once you stopped running. So if you want the camera to move to be behind your character, you just have to stop for a second, let it reset, and continue on your way, which was really great. What I didn't like about the gameplay, which partially is a controls issue, is that sometimes you would jump and you would fall or not jump at all, and you're like, but I hit jump. And I don't know if that's a skill issue on my part for just being bad at platformers, or if it's the game being a little glitchy. I don't know. I am pretty bad at platformers. I'm not even gonna try to lie to you guys. But there were several times where I jumped and missed. So I would have to say controls are 3.5 out of 5. Gameplay overall, it's very simple. It's really hard to screw it up. Petrie literally tells you what to do. So for a kid, that's great. For an adult, I don't think. Hi. Yeah, so for an adult, I don't think it's, you know, all that great. There's not a lot of thinking involved. It's very brainless. And also, it is very, very short. The game overall took us about a little bit over an hour and a half to do every single character to get them to the Great Valley, so finishing the game that way. And streaming, and interrupting, and doing all the stuff that we do on stream, right? So, very short game. Very, very short game. As to the last part of replayability, I'm going to say 0. There is no replayability. Even if you try to 100%, it does not matter. There's nothing special to do to get 100%. It's like collect all the tree stars. I don't know. You could speedrun it, but I don't know if that's even worth it. It's very easy. It's a very simple game, and I don't think that has a lot of replayability. But I think, you know, it's worth playing at least once in your life, you know. Why not, right? Let's talk about my opinion of the game. Now, I played this when I was a little baby, and little baby Aya liked this game and got very frustrated at this game. There were a couple times, even now as an adult, replaying it that I was like, what am I doing again? How do I do this again? And Petrie's literally telling you what to do, and yet still I'm sitting there with my dial-up just like... But we got it anyway, after lots of messing around. Yeah, my biggest gripe was mostly playing Ducky's level at the last level that Ducky's character plays. There is a lava level, and you have to jump around, and I missed the one platform. I don't know why, I just never saw it, and it never registered. So we were there for a little bit, and then the one with Sarah, where they have the logs. So I would stood in the middle, and they would play the note. So I'd run up to the log and hit the log, and that was not how to do it. It was stay in the middle and hit your triangle, square, X, and circle button in the order as they were doing the musical, what is it called? Musical memory game? I want to call it a memory game. But either way, those were the two things that got me hung up on. Everything else was relatively easy, and I don't think that it was worth replaying. Other than the nostalgia, like if you really wanted to have like a little heal your inner child moment, then go ahead and play it. Like, I will not say you should or should not play it. I'm just saying that did not stand the test of time. It should have stayed in its era and remained with the other dinosaurs. Because while it's a great movie series, and I know many of us probably grew up watching Land Before Time, the game was only really good when you were a kid, because for a game adaptation to a movie, it wasn't bad. And that is all I have to say really about the Land Before Time Return to the Great Valley. This is actually the second game that they released for the whole series, by the way. There is a one before that which was even better. Very pixelated and older. But we wanted to do this one because it was on the PlayStation 1 and it was fun while it lasted. Do you have anything to say about Land Before Time, the game? Did you play it when you were a kid? Did you play it when you were older? Do you have anything you want to add? Or do you have a new game that you want me to try that's retro for Retroview? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing out here. And have a fantastic day. Mwah!